Have you ever hit that wall where everything just feels, stopped?
Hmm.
I'm not talking about being tired exactly, not needing a nap or a weekend off. I mean that deep internal feeling of total, absolute stagnation.
I know exactly what you mean.
You look at your career and it's just flat. The promotions aren't coming, the ideas aren't coming, and you're just punching the clock day in and day out, waiting for 5 o'clock.
Or your relationships, they start to feel transactional.
Yes, like you're just trading logistics. Who's picking up the kids? What's for dinner? Whose turn is it to do the dishes?
The spark is gone.
Or maybe it's just your own energy level. You wake up and you already feel like you're wading through molasses. You're just stuck.
It's a visceral feeling. It's gray, it's heavy. It feels like the air has been sucked out of the room of your life.
Exactly. And the natural instinct, at least for me when I feel that way, is to grab on tighter.
To hoard.
To hoard my energy. To protect what little I feel I have left, I retreat. I pull up the drawbridge. I think, I don't have enough to give, so I'm going to keep everything I have right here. I stop volunteering. I stop initiating conversations. I just stop trying.
It's the most human reaction in the world. I mean, it's a biological imperative, right? When we feel a threat or a lack of resources, whether that's money or love or just physical vitality, we contract.
We build a fortress.
We do. We activate what the Stoics might call a fear-based response. We build a fortress around what we have because we're terrified of losing it. But today, we're going to look at why that instinct, that protective contraction, is actually the architect of our own misery.
So it's the thing that's actually trapping us.
It's the thing sealing our fate. We're going to see how that very act of holding on is the problem itself.
We're back with another exploration into the archives of wisdom on our channel, Classic Mosaic Truth. Today we're looking at a really counterintuitive solution to that feeling of being stuck.
It really is.
We're opening up Ralph Waldo Trine's classic, In Tune with the Infinite, specifically. This is our 9th look at this book, and we're covering the great law of the giving of life.
And yet Trine was writing in the late 19th century, but this chapter, it reads like it was written this morning for someone who is just burnt out on modern life.
It really does. It's uncanny.
And the core idea here is going to challenge a lot of people. It challenges me. It goes against almost everything our economy teaches us.
Much of what?
Trine argues that the solution to stagnation is never getting more. The solution is circulating more. If you want fresh water in the pond, you can't just build higher walls. You have to open the outlet.
I love that image. It's so clear. Before we jump into the mechanics of how this works, and we're going to get very practical today, I want to mention something important.
Okay.
If this episode helps you, please hit like and subscribe for the next one.
So let's set the stage. We're discussing the great law of the giving of life.
Right.
Now, I want to be really clear about the tone here. When we hear the word giving, we often think of, writing a check to a charity or maybe some vague, soft spirituality about being a nice person.
Or people-pleasing. Being a doormat.
Exactly. We think of the person who just can't say no.
Right. It sounds like we're about to tell everyone to just hold hands, sing songs, and give away all their possessions to find happiness. And honestly, if that's the advice, I think most people are going to tune out right now.
And they should. Because that's not what Trine is talking about at all. This is not about financial charity, although, that can be a part of it.
But it's not the main point.
Not at all.
Yeah.
This isn't about vague spirituality. It's a practical, mechanical look at how energy, goodwill, and service circulate in a healthy human life. Think of it more like electrical engineering or hydraulics than moralizing.
So it's a system.
It's a system. Trine's assertion is that life creates a vacuum. If you hoard, you stagnate. If you give, you create room for new inflow. It's basically physics applied to the human spirit. Visual overlay 1. Life expands through circulation.
It's the difference between a swamp and a river.
Precisely. Life expands through circulation. If the water moves, it's alive. If it stops, it dies. Trine is essentially arguing that we are designed for motion, for throughput.
Okay, let's unpack Trine's core principle here. Because he starts with a pretty big claim about where our power actually comes from.
He does.
He says we're not the source of the power. This is a bit of a blow to the ego, isn't it? We like to think we're these self-contained batteries generating our own brilliance.
It's a huge blow to the ego, but it's also a massive relief. This is the fundamental shift. Trine explains that we are not generators of power. We're channels for it. Channels. There's an infinite spirit, what he calls the divine life, or you might call it the life force or simply nature, that flows through us. We are like the faucet, not the reservoir.
Okay.
And if the faucet is taped shut, the water can't flow no matter how much water is in the reservoir.
So if I'm feeling drained, it's not necessarily that I've run out of energy,
Oh.
but that I've blocked the flow of it. That changes the diagnostic completely.
That's the argument. Trine uses the analogy of a pool or a pond. Imagine a pool of water fed by a mountain spring. It's beautiful, clear, refreshing.
Cold and crisp.
But if you block the outlet, if you stop the water from flowing out because you want to keep every drop, thinking you might need it later, what happens?
Well, the physics of it are simple. If water can't go out, water can't come in.
Exactly. The fresh water from the spring can't enter because the pool is full. There's no room for the new. And the water that's just sitting there,
It goes still.
it goes still. It stops moving. Then it grows algae. Then it starts to smell. Then it becomes toxic. Visual overlay too. Stagnation comes from hoarding.
Stagnation comes from hoarding. That is such a powerful visual.
It is. And we do this in our lives constantly.
Yeah.
You know, we even see this in modern psychological research on things like prosocial behavior. People who are open to the world, who share, who express, they tend to have higher well-being.
And the opposite.
People who are closed off, who are focused entirely on protecting what they have, they tend to be more anxious and depressed. Trine is telling us that if we're keeping score or withholding truth or operating out of fear, we're essentially damming up the river of our own lives.
He uses some older language to describe this, doesn't he? The phrase moth and rust.
Right. He references the scripture about laying up treasures where moth and rust corrupt, but he strips away the religious dogma and looks at the natural law underneath it.
So what's the principle?
He's basically saying moth and rust are nature's way of disintegrating what is not being used. Nature hates hoarding. Think about it physically. If you leave a tool out and never use it, what happens?
It rusts. It seizes up.
And if you leave a house empty, even a mansion, it decays faster than if a family were living in it, causing wear and tear.
That's actually true. I've seen that. An occupied house lasts longer. The circulation of air, the movement of people, it keeps the structure alive.
Yes, it keeps it alive.
If you just lock the doors and walk away, the place falls apart.
Because there's life flowing through it. Hoarding leads to decay. Circulation leads to renewal. That is the binary choice Trine presents. You're either circulating and renewing, or you are hoarding and decaying.
There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground.
I want to translate the giving of life into plain English, because Trine uses this flowery Victorian language, but he means something very specific.
He does.
I think parents immediately hear giving life and think, well, I gave life to my kids and I am exhausted. Or people think it means grand gestures, like donating a wing to a hospital.
Right, but Trine is talking about something ongoing, a daily practice. It translates to very specific behaviors.
Like what?
First, it's service, simply doing your work well, with an intention of helpfulness.
Yeah.
Second, it's goodwill, holding a mindset where you genuinely wish well for others, even your competitors, without jealousy.
That's a tough one. Wishing well for the person competing for the same promotion.
We'll get to why that's actually selfishly smart in a moment. But yes, it also means truth-speaking, honestly. It means creativity, putting ideas into the world rather than sitting on them.
And the last one.
And it means helpful, action-taking initiative. Anytime you move from a passive protective state to an active expressive state, you are giving life.
So when I sit in a meeting and I have a good idea, but I don't say it because I'm afraid it might get shot down, or I'm saving it for the right time so I can look smarter later,
You're blocking the flow.
I'm blocking the flow.
You are withholding life. You are damming the river. And because you block the outflow, you're preventing the inflow of the next good idea.
That connects right back to the faucet analogy. If you don't turn the handle, nothing comes out and nothing new comes in.
Exactly.
All right.
And the longer you leave the faucet off, the more rusty the water is when you finally turn it on.
Okay, I can feel the listeners getting tense, and I'm getting a little tense too, because there is a very real danger here. We've all met people, or maybe we are people who are givers. They give and give and give, and they are miserable. They're exhausted, they're resentful, and they are usually broke.
Yes.
If I just go around giving and flowing all the time, am I not just going to burn out? Do I just give until I'm empty?
This is the critical objection, and we have to address it immediately. This is section 2. What giving is not a safety check. Because if you misunderstand this, you will hurt yourself.
And Trine doesn't want that.
No, he's not trying to create victims here.
Please, because I know people who are givers and they're just being used. They're the ones staying light to fix everyone else's mistakes, and they're the ones who are crying in their cars on the way home.
Trine is not advocating for martyrdom. In fact, he warns against it. He's very clear that there are four things. Giving life is absolutely not.
Okay, what's the first?
First, it is not people-pleasing.
Oh, that's a big one. What's the difference?
Giving to get approval is not giving. It's a transaction. You are buying validation with your compliance.
Wow.
You're saying, I will do this for you so that you will tell me I am good. That is not a flow. That is a trade, and usually a bad one. It creates resentment because you're keeping a ledger in your head.
I did this for you, so you owe me.
You owe me approval, and when they don't give it to you, you feel cheated.
That hits home. So real giving has to be detached from the need for validation.
Ideally, yes. It's about the expression of your own capacity, not the manipulation of someone else's opinion.
Okay, what's the second thing it's not?
It is not self-erasing. You cannot give from an empty cup. Trine emphasizes that we must be filled with the infinite power. If you're neglecting your own health, your own sleep, your own sanity to help others, you're damaging the channel.
A broken pipe can't carry water.
That's a great image. If the pipe bursts, the flow stops. So taking care of the pipe is part of the job. You are the instrument. If you destroy the instrument in the process of playing the music stops.
Right. What's the third one?
It is not enabling. Helping someone avoid their own growth or helping them stay immature is not giving life.
It's giving dependency.
Exactly. That is actually a form of harm. If you're doing someone's homework for them, literally or metaphorically, you're not giving them life. You are stealing their opportunity to grow.
That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of parents and partners.
Yeah.
We think we're helping by shielding people from consequences.
But we're actually blocking their flow. We're creating a blockage in their life. That is not the giving of life. It's the giving of stagnation.
And the fourth?
It is not overcommitting. A river channel has to have borders and banks.
Of course.
If it doesn't have banks, it's just a swamp. You need structure, you need boundaries, you need to know where you end and the other person begins.
So how do we do this right? If it's not people-pleasing and it's not martyrdom, what's the giving method that Trine suggests?
It comes down to two words: fullness and principle.
Okay.
You give because you are full. You give because you have an excess of energy or skill or love that needs to go somewhere. You don't give because you owe a debt. Visual overlay 3. Give from fullness, not fear.
You give because it's who you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
It becomes an identity-based habit. You give on principle. You are a person who contributes. You're a person who helps. You do it because that's your nature, not because of how the other person reacts.
That sounds very stoic.
It is entirely stoic. The Stoics would say you control your own action, the throwing of the ball, but you do not control the reception, whether they catch it.
So you give with clean boundaries.
Clean boundaries. You say, I'm offering this help because I'm a helpful person, not I'm offering this help so you will like me.
Give from fullness, not fear. That distinction is everything.
Correct. When you give from fear, fear that they'll leave you, fear that you aren't enough, you're actually constricting the flow. When you give from fullness, you're expanding it. You're saying to the universe, I have so much I can afford to share.
That's a powerful signal.
It is.
Okay, let's make this real. I want to look at 3 practical applications of this because we all have areas where we feel stuck. Let's start with work.
This is where most people feel the stagnation. You're in a job. Maybe you feel undervalued. Maybe you're bored. The paycheck is the same, whether you work hard or hardly work.
So the cynicism sets in.
It does. You think, I'm not doing more until they pay me more.
The classic standoff. Act your wage, as they say on social media. Quiet quitting.
It's a standoff. And look, I understand the sentiment. But Trine would argue this attitude is a stagnation trap. You are damming up your own capability.
How so?
He suggests a shift toward contribution. Visual overlay 4. Contribution beats cynicism.
But isn't that just letting the boss exploit you? If I work harder for the same money, aren't I just a sucker? That's the modern rebuttal.
It can be if you lack boundaries. But look at it from the perspective of your own energy and your own development. When you withdraw your enthusiasm, when you do the bare minimum, who suffers most?
You do.
You do. You spend 8 hours a day in a state of low-level resentment and boredom. That's toxic to your own psyche. You are training yourself to be mediocre. You're practicing being stagnant for 40 hours a week.
Wow. When you put it that way, it sounds terrible. You're practicing stagnation.
Exactly. You're calcifying your own spirit. So what's the action step? Provide initiative.
Yeah.
Solve a problem no one asked you to solve. Improve the quality of the work, not for the company.
But for yourself.
For the sake of your own character. For the sake of exercising your own faculties.
Trine tells a story about this, doesn't he?
He does. He talks about a woman who was asked to do a job that felt beneath her. It was menial, simple work. She felt overqualified. But instead of sulking, she decided to put her whole soul into it.
And what happened?
She did it with such excellence and such a spirit of service that it unlocked a massive opportunity for her. The point is that this breaks the stagnation. Even if your current employer doesn't reward it, you have expanded your capacity.
You've become a person of higher voltage.
That's a great way to put it, and that inevitably leads to new opportunities elsewhere.
So the logic is contribution beats cynicism. You are doing it for your own growth, not just for the boss's bottom line. You're
Yeah.
building your resume, sure, but you're really building your character.
Exactly. You are keeping your own machinery well-oiled so that when the big opportunity comes, you're ready to run.
Okay, let's talk about the second application, relationships. This is the big one.
The scorekeeping dynamic. This is the death of flow in relationships.
I texted him first last time, so I'm not texting him until he texts me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did the dishes yesterday, so I'm going to watch the pile grow until she notices. We keep a mental ledger.
We're constantly calculating debts and credits. I initiated intimacy last time, so now I'm going to wait. Visual overlay 5. Drop the mental ledger.
It's exhausting.
And it's lonely. You're in a relationship, but you are alone with your calculator.
It's stifling.
Oh.
It turns a relationship into a business transaction. It kills the romance and it kills the connection.
So what's the shift?
The shift Trine suggests is goodwill with boundaries.
Drop the mental ledger.
Drop it. Burn it. Offer kindness. Offer the benefit of the doubt. Offer the apology first. Not because you were weak,
But because you're strong.
because you're strong enough to initiate the flow.
Trine mentions that we find our own lives by losing the small, ego-driven calculation.
Yes. When you stop worrying about who won the argument and start caring about the health of the connection, the stagnation breaks. You are circulating love instead of hoarding your pride.
I like that phrasing. Hoarding pride is a form of stagnation. We hold on to our rightness and we lose the relationship.
Precisely. You can be right or you can be in flow. Often you can't be both.
Okay, application 3. Habits. And specifically, our relationship with ourselves.
This is often overlooked. We treat ourselves worse than we treat our employees or our friends. We neglect ourselves, masquerading it as busyness.
I don't have time to sleep. I don't have time to eat right. I have too much to do. I'll rest when I'm dead.
That is hoarding time, but wasting life. The shift is to give yourself structure and care.
How so?
Treat your body and mind as a recipient of your own goodwill. Visual overlay 6. Self-care maintains the channel.
So self-care is actually a form of giving life.
Absolutely. You cannot be a clear channel for life if the channel itself is broken down. Giving yourself the gift of sleep or nutritious food or silence is maintenance of the instrument.
Self-care maintains the channel. That makes sense. It's not selfish, it's structural.
It is essential engineering. You wouldn't drive a car for 100,000 miles without changing the oil and call it heroic.
You'd call it negligent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yet we do that to our bodies and minds constantly.
Okay, we've covered the basics, but I know people still trip up. I want to run through a rapid-fire list of 5 common mistakes people make when they try to apply this law of giving.
Let's do it.
Mistake 1, bargaining.
This is giving only to get a specific result. I'll be nice to my wife so that she'll let me go on the golf trip. That's manipulation, not giving.
And the fix.
Detached from the outcome. The reward has to be in the action itself. The feeling of being a loving husband is the reward. If you need the external reward to justify the kindness, it wasn't kindness, it was a bribe.
Mistake 2, the martyr complex.
Giving until you resent it. We touch on this. If you feel resentment bubbling up, that's your dashboard warning light. It means you are overextended.
The tank is empty.
The tank is empty. The fix. Check your energy levels. If you feel resentment, stop giving immediately and restore yourself. Resentment poisons the gift.
How does it do that?
It makes the recipient feel guilty
Yeah.
and the giver feel superior. Nobody wins.
Okay. Mistake 3, hoarding ideas.
This is huge for creatives and people in corporate jobs, keeping good ideas secret for fear of theft. I won't share this strategy because my coworker might get the credit.
So what's the fix for that?
Share freely.
Mhm.
Creativity generates more creativity. The more you pour out, the more the source fills you up. If you hold on to an idea, it goes stale.
It becomes irrelevant.
It does. If you share it, you make room for the next, better idea. You have to operate from abundance, not scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
Trust that your brain can make more.
Mistake 4, selective goodwill.
Ah, yes. Being kind only to those who can help you. The networking approach to kindness. Treating the CEO like a god and the barista like furniture.
That's just gross behavior.
It is. And it's strategy, not character. The fix is universal goodwill. Be kind to the barista and the CEO equally.
It keeps your channel open.
In all directions. You're not a kind person if you're only kind to powerful people. You're a sycophant. Trine argues for being a channel of goodwill to everyone you meet.
And mistake 5. Waiting for enough.
I'll give when I have more money. I'll volunteer when I have more time. I'll be a better partner when work settles down.
The destination that never arrives.
Exactly. The fix. Start where you are. Give attention. Give a compliment. Give a small effort today. The flow starts with a trickle, not a flood. Visual overlay 7. Start where you are.
Start where you are. I think that's the most important one. You don't need $1 million to be a generous person.
No. In fact, if you aren't generous with $10, you won't be generous with $1 million. Money just magnifies what you already are. It doesn't change it.
So if you're stingy with a little...
You'd be stingy with a lot.
All right, we've talked about the theory. Now I want to help the listener actually do this. We designed a guided exercise based on Trine's principles. We're calling it the circulation reset.
This is a mental exercise to unclog a stagnant area of your life. I want you to do this with us right now. You don't have to close your eyes, especially if you're driving, but just turn your attention inward for a moment. Visual overlay 8. Reset your circulation.
Okay, step first.
Name one area where you feel stuck. Is it money? Is it love? Your creativity? Your physical health? Just pick one. Don't overthink it. Just identify where the water has stopped flowing. Where does it feel heavy?
Got it. Step to next.
Name what you have been withholding in that area. Be honest with yourself. If it's your relationship, have you been withholding affection, withholding truth? If it's work, have you been withholding your best effort? Gratitude. What are you clutching tight? What are you afraid to let go of?
That's uncomfortable but necessary. You have to name the blockage.
Okay, step next.
Choose one form of clean giving that matches your integrity. What can you offer in that situation without strings attached? Maybe it's an honest conversation, maybe a small gift, maybe it's just an extra hour of focused work, or just saying thank you to someone you've been ignoring.
Clean giving, no strings. No strings? Step next. Choose one boundary that keeps this giving healthy. For example, I will offer advice, but only once. Or, I will give 30 minutes to this project, not 3 hours. Define the banks of the river. This protects you from the martyr complex.
Okay. Step next.
Take one small outward action today. Not tomorrow. Today. Send the email, make the call, write the page, buy the coffee. Physical movement breaks mental stagnation. You have to physically open the valve.
And step finally.
Release one contradiction. Let go of a specific gossip habit, or a passive-aggressive comment you were planning to make, or a tendency to overpromise. Identify one thing that's clogging the pipe and just let it go. Visual overlay 9. Release the contradiction.
Release the contradiction. That feels lighter already.
It should. You're removing the debris from the stream.
This has been a lot to process, but I feel like it's a total shift in perspective. Instead of, how do I get what I want, the question becomes, how do I circulate what I have?
And that shift changes everything. It takes you from a scarcity mindset, where there's never enough and everyone is a threat, to an abundance mindset, where you're connected to an infinite source.
You realize you don't run out.
You realize that the more you give, the more room you make for life to flow into you.
Let's recap what we've covered today. We've unpacked a lot of Trine's philosophy.
We have. Here are the key takeaways.
First, life is a flow. Hoarding leads to stagnation. If you block the outlet, the inlet closes.
Second, giving includes service, truth, and goodwill. Not just money. It's an attitude of the spirit.
Third, true giving is not people-pleasing or martyrdom. It requires fullness and boundaries.
Fourth, we must avoid the trap of keeping score in relationships. Burn the ledger.
Fifth, in work, initiative breaks the cycle of cynicism. Do it for your own growth.
Sixth, self-care is giving your instrument the maintenance it needs. You can't serve from a broken vessel.
And finally, small, clean actions create room for new growth. Start where you are.
It really is that simple and that difficult.
It's a practice. It's not a switch you flick once. It's a way of living.
It is the great law. It operates whether we believe in it or not. We can either align with it and flow, or fight it and stagnate.
Well, I know which one I'm choosing today. This has been our 9th journey through In Tune with the Infinite.
We're getting close to the end of the book.
We are. Next time, we're looking at episode 10, Character Building. We'll discuss how thoughts crystallize into habits and how habits crystallize into the destiny we live every day.
It's the practical blueprint for everything we've talked about.
It's going to be a good one. Visual overlap in. Next, building character.
It's where the rubber meets the road. How to build the structure that holds the flow.
I cannot wait. Thanks for being here. If you want the full series, check the playlist and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.